Quarantine got you down? Feel like strangling your significant other? Girl, same. It's Adam, just in case you forgot, and we are jumping into your feed with a little bonus episode of me and my gorgeous husband to get you through until season 2. So enjoy this conversation between me, my husband, and my boyfriend Travis. That's right, we are talking about all things more than monogamous, ageism in relationships, and Travis's experiences on dating apps. Bitch, bring that music up. I am shook because today we are very fortunate. We have two lovely human beings that I am very fortunate to know. We have my husband, MaSean.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend, Travis.
Hello.
Okay, Travis, can you say that like you're not being held at gunpoint here?
Hello?
My gosh. Welcome, y'all, to a little lovely discussion about what it is to be more than monogamous.
Yeah. It's exactly what you think. I hate him and I'm going to murder him.
That people often think about that
They
when
do.
when they consider like our relationship and your relationship to Travis.
Yeah, they ask me all the time. I think they expect the worst because it would bother them in their own personal lives.
Yeah,
But yeah, no. He's wonderful.
he really is.
I am.
I'm glad you agree.
Travis, we've known each other for a long time.
We have, yes.
For like what, 3 years?
It's been about 3 years, my freshman year.
Yeah, freshman year of college, when
right.
you seduced me.
That's,
Oh my God.
we're going back to this.
Yeah, there's a lot of debate over how this went down.
Listen, if you DM someone happy birthday,
Then I mean
MaSean,
it. Then I mean it. Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Happy birthday in a DM is this booty is ready for you.
Or they're just being nice.
No, MaSean, people aren't.
Okay, wait. Let's get to this. So when you messaged him randomly, was it Facebook?
It was through Facebook Messenger.
After we had talked on Grindr.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was months after y'all had sort of kind
Correct.
of lost contact, maybe.
Yes.
Did you? What was the push behind that? Like, did you expect to just have flirty conversation, or did you expect to meet? Like, why did you say happy birthday?
Well, it was, oh gosh. It was flirty conversation for sure. But
Ooh, the truth will set you free. And I certainly feel free today.
I think what really set Adam apart from everyone else is that Adam is an excellent conversationalist. And just the idea of maybe going out on like a coffee date was very enticing. And I thought, yeah, like, let's give this a shot, you know?
Yeah, I think I was really low pressure for you.
You're very low pressure.
So I was like, I get you don't know what you might like or want, and you can just show up and talk, and that will be a lovely connection in itself.
Yeah.
Good for me.
Yeah, congrats.
It's
Very
really wild to
fortunate.
have both of you here and recording this because how often I get roasted when you two are together. It's like the only time that like people can like. It's almost like Power Rangers where they like come together and make like a
We're the Megazord.
yeah and try to take me down. And then who's the bad person on Power Rangers? Okay, MaSean, you're useless.
Rita
to me.
Repulsa.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
and then I read a Repulsa, your ass is back to oblivion.
I do like to often think of us as the Megazord. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. So I always feel really fortunate, Travis, because I know you were like in a real position of exploring and trying to understand yourself, and you shared yourself with me and MaSean, and
For
it's
sure.
really just been a really lovely experience.
Yeah, and I do appreciate you saying that. And I think from my perspective, though, I'd say I'm also very fortunate to have you and MaSean be kind of this guide for me to explore my sexuality, because like some people out there, I'm someone who comes from a rural conservative town where people are shamed for all the time.
Hello, if you're listening in Brady, Texas, call in. We're
Yes.
listening.
This is talking to you, Brady. Named after a white person. I mean, go figure.
Shocker.
But yeah, I mean, I've been absolutely fortunate to have you all my life to allow me to explore my sexuality and I mean, ultimately, you gave me the confidence to come out, and y'all even threw me a celebration for that. So, I mean, very, very fortunate. A lot of first times with y'all, as y'all know.
So for those listening, we were Travis's first three-way.
Oh, shit.
This is true.
Yeah. You're welcome, MaSean.
It happened.
Still the best of the state.
Thank you. What? Oh, my God. You know how to stroke a lady's ego.
I'm wearing that medal.
We took you to your first gay club.
You did, yeah.
That did I forgot about that.
Remember we tried to, y'all tried to sneak me into Rain, and the bouncer was like, "No, you're too
Yeah,
young."
they
So
would not allow it.
Yeah,
We had to
it's
take you
okay,
to
but-
Club V, which sounds like it's from fucking True Blood.
Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
What does V
it
stand
was-
for?
Bitch, who knows?
Vagina?
It's closed.
I
Listen, if we had a lesbian bar in Austin, I would be very excited because women who love women need a space.
do.
We also, I mean, we've had you here for like Thanksgivings.
Thanksgivings, Christmas, Valentine's, any celebration that you have, I always feel included.
It's wild to me because I do a lot of work, right, with more than monogamous people. And I think there's this notion that if there's already an established couple or unit, then any third person is going to feel less than. And one of the things I'm really proud of in our dynamic, especially for MaSean, is this notion that like we want to treat everyone with respect and kindness and that they feel loved and
Right.
valued, right?
Yeah,
And so
for sure.
It doesn't have to be a hierarchy.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly doesn't work that way for me. But I often get questions about Travis from coworkers or friends that
Who's that hot guy on your Instagram?
yeah. They're like, "How is that?" And they expect the worst. They want me to be bothered by it or whatever would bother them in their own lives. And it's not that at all. I don't know. I've always appreciated Travis. He's a perfectly lovely human being.
I'm good people.
Yeah. That's
They
true.
are. I mean, when we met, I think you were really trying to figure out who you were just because of like the phase of life that you were in, as well as being like a queer person, a person of color from like a small town in Texas,
Yeah.
and had to make it okay for you to exist.
Well, that you did.
Yeah.
Travis and I actually have a lot in common because we're both from incredibly small towns in super, I don't know, conservative states.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And
we've
you-
had a lot of the same experience.
And you both love the deepest mouth of the South.
Okay. Yeah,
Well, okay. Sure.
that for sure.
No, like one of the things that I talk a lot about this with people, what it is to have a generation gap in a relationship. It's what a privilege it is to like connect with someone who is exploring themselves and to be a support and offer some things that I wish people had done for me, right? Like I wish someone had been smart enough to be like, hey, you can just be you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show up and celebrate the fuck out of that person.
Yeah, I always get questions from my friends like, "How are you like so knowledgeable in doing all of this and that?" And I tell them that I'm just really fortunate to know you, Adam. Yes,
You're like
I'm
data
gonna
sex
joke-
therapist. You're learning how to suck dick real good. No, but like I think we talk about things like more than monogamy or like self.
Yeah, you just have to stay open minded.
Yeah. Gosh, it's so funny. I remember when you were talking to me about coming out to your family system, and one of the things that actually made me love MaSean even more, which is wild to think that that's possible, is that he said, if they're rejecting, like, we got you. And to have someone say, I understand this person's meaningful to you and we will be a support to them as a unit, that was like a big deal. And I was like, oh, fuck, I've really built a life that's lovely and beautiful.
Yeah, I'm pretty great. Just kidding.
You do in that scenario, and I think a lot in minority groups or groups that are underrepresented. A lot of times you have family systems that will typically not accept someone of their own kind, their own blood. And so it's always reassuring because during that time, during that moment, I truly felt like I had a second family with y'all.
Yeah. Well, you know you do.
Yeah. As you know.
Yeah. My goodness. It's so funny to think about all the things that we've been through in our relationship. Because there's been like really lovely times, and there's been times that are challenging.
It's been a roller coaster, yeah.
Yeah, I think the times that were challenging, you were kind of figuring out like how to like be a human.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're like, oh fuck, what do I want? What matters to me? And it pushed me into this position to learn how to love in a like much deeper way, where I think we usually end up loving people because it's reciprocal. So I give you this, and therefore I get this. And it's really different to say, I give you this, and you have the freedom to be and to exist and to do you. And I hope you choose me again.
Yeah.
And it was really challenging experience, but like also fucking lovely.
Yeah, I think people need to realize there's a huge generation gap.
Yeah.
So whereas Travis is like discovering who he is as an adult and figuring out college life and life in general, we've already been through that and it's done and over.
Yeah.
So
Some of us much earlier.
yeah, there's that.
So shady.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, MaSean, you're about to be on the iceberg.
It's true.
That's what happens in our culture.
There was one, so I knew Travis's age, but you don't really think about it in depth. But one night we were all hanging out and I was wearing a shirt from a camp that I worked at when I was in college.
He's so good.
And the shirt said, I feel like we've talked about this on the
Yeah.
podcast before, but the shirt said something about the camp and it being 1997. And the shirt looked relatively new because I take care of stuff. And I didn't think about the date on it, but Travis noticed the shirt and says, oh, that was the year I was born. And when I thought about it, I was like, holy shit. I was like, I don't know, 20 years old in this picture. I mean, when I got the shirt, sorry. And that I got it in the summer of 1997, but he wasn't born until December of
Therefore,
1997.
That shirt was older than me.
Yeah, and I
And me.
was broken. I was destroyed.
It's wild to me how ageism keeps people from exploring intergenerational love. This idea that like, oh, this person's just young and wouldn't know anything or wouldn't be valuable or is just kind of like a toy, right? Rather than like a human who is smart and kind and loving and worthy of connection. I fucking hate ageism. It's weird. It's a weird ism because like it's one that we all experience.
It is.
Right?
It
Like,
really
we
is.
have all been young, and if we're fortunate, we all get to be old. And the challenges that come from that experience.
And you can
wild.
experience it in complete reverse situations.
Yeah, like Benjamin Button.
Yes. Like some people are judged because people think they're too old, and then other people look younger than they are, and they're still judged and broken for those things. And that sucks.
Yeah. Now, Travis, you actually experience the world in a different way than MaSean and I, because we are white people. I am like extremely white. On my driver's license, my ethnicity is opaque.
Mar.
Yeah. And you are a person of color. Do you want to talk a little bit about your experience about like dating and hooking up and being in the world as a person of color?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, two of the major things that were difficult for me growing up in Brady was the fact that we were the only Asian American family in our hometown, and I didn't come out at the time, but I was gay. I found that out later in high school, but one of them that I could hide, one of them obviously I could not. Just some of the things I remember going through in high school was there was one particular moment in fourth grade when we were taking some kind of exam or doing some group assignment, and one of the little kids, they got a highlighter and they marked my skin. And I don't know, like these kids, they get so creative with their insults. But like if it was a stupid insult, I wouldn't have minded because it would just be stupid. But he marked my skin and he said, "Wow, it blends in perfectly fine. Like it's I can't even see, I can't even tell." So obviously he was making a remark to my skin, and of course I get every now and then like squinty eyes and any like Asian feature. They'll they'll insult it in some form or fashion, and I just think that's like absolutely ridiculous, and it definitely got to me as a kid.
Yeah, it's wild to me how limiting it is. I think of like dating and hooking up now. Like one on Grindr, you can filter out people by their ethnicity. And I'm like, that is racism in dating and hooking up.
Yeah,
It is crazy.
Like it's so limiting. And the idea that people would say, like no one's ever said to me, Adam, you're attractive for a white guy. But I know I have clients and friends of color who have been told specifically, like, you are attractive for whatever ethnicity they are. And I'm like, holy shit.
yeah.
Yeah, what is your experience on dating apps? Like,
Well, it's it's definitely been mixed. So
I mean,
Grindr's,
we did meet on Grindr.
we did meet on
So
Grindr.
there are some good things.
There are some good things, yes, but some of the less fortunate circumstances that I've experienced was I was conversing with this guy who I found attractive, and he did to me as well. And so we were conversing, we were having a good time, and then he noticed on my profile that I put mixed, and so he asked me like what my full racial background is. And I told him that I was half Chinese, and immediately he said, "I'm sorry, I'm not interested." And I think that it was just so degrading to have someone like immediately shut me down from this connection whenever I revealed that I was half Chinese.
especially when he was obviously interested in the beginning, and his only reason for disconnecting the conversation was because you said you were half Chinese. Like, he was obviously interested based on your pictures and your profile. None of that bothered him.
Right.
But just to hear it out loud was enough to shut you down.
Yeah. I can't imagine telling like an entire race of people that not a one of you has anything to offer me romantically or erotically, anything that I'm interested in. Like, that's so limiting.
Even though I like your pictures.
Yeah.
They
which
are good
is-
pictures.
Yeah, they are. I've seen them. They're very good pictures. The whole thing is crazy. I was telling you, I don't know, a week or so ago that I saw someone's profile on Grindr, and in their picture, they were very attractive, but I guess maybe their eyes were half closed, and they felt the need to write on top of the picture, "I'm not Asian, I'm just super tired." And I was just so done.
Yeah.
I told you that I wanted to message them and say, well, I liked your pictures more when I thought you were Asian, but too bad. Right?
Yeah.
Just to prove a point. But
Just
that's
to
aggressive and
screw with them.
unnecessary.
Yeah. I can't speak on behalf of other people of color, but at least I know in the Asian community that Asian men have this tendency to be emasculated.
Yeah. When the research shows that when we're talking about sexual racism in dating, that Asian men face some of the most for men.
Yeah. At least here in the U.S.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's different, elsewhere, but yeah, and, it's an unfortunate thing,
I wonder how much of that racism exists, like, within their own society when there are lots of Americans living there or whatnot.
I think because of colonization, right? Like,
Yeah.
whiteness got carried over to a lot of cultures. It's like, this is what we value. This is
Yeah,
number one.
I would imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
it is. And then people miss out, which that's like what's wild to me. Is this notion that their whole experiences and lovely humans to connect with and just enjoy, and they would just be written off. The other side of this, though, we haven't really got into yet, I think is important to talk about, is what it is to be fetishized for your ethnicity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is
I can't even imagine what that is.
because there's a difference between, like, I do a lot of kink and fetish work. So there's like race play, which is when people opt into that. And, I'm like, cool, that's something that you're looking to explore. That can be really helpful in navigating some of the challenges you might experience because of your race or ethnicity. But being fetishized for your race or ethnicity, it's really dehumanizing. Like, I think of it as like, you ever go to like a amusement park and they do like a characterization of you? Like, what if they like drew some character of you and you're like, all right, that's all of you. That's all I care about. That's all I see you as.
Yeah.
It's this one thing.
I think conversely, with Asian men being emasculated, I know that a lot of Asian females are typically fetishized here in the States,
Yeah.
in Western culture.
Which is wild. It's wild to me that we say this group is exotic, when in reality, white people, we are the exotic ones because we are the minority.
Oh, wait, yeah. If you think about it.
But white people don't like to talk about that shit. But what narratives that we write about that and how ingrained they are and what that does to a sense of self. Because I think one of the things that was really dynamic about our connection, Travis, was how often I was really being a place of like reducing shame for you, like going like, hey, you lived in systems that tried to shame you for being queer or being a person of color, and like you don't have to do that with me, and you can unpack that shame now and actually have a sense of pride.
Yeah, and I think something that really helped, and I think something internalized that I had in my mind is because Adam, this person who is white, is telling me this, is encouraging me, it somehow added a bit more credibility, a bit more validity to what you were saying. So I was more likely to perhaps believe what you were saying as opposed to maybe someone else who was a person of color. And I think that's just has been ingrained in the back of my mind since, I was growing up.
Yeah. And the idea that like, just that I would have like more weight because I happen to be lacking pigment. It's wild, right? It's silly when we talk about it in those terms, but it's the reality of it.
It is, yeah.
And so there's a part of me that is like really fortunate that we got to be in each other's lives, because as much as I got to like support you and champion for you, you've also been in my corner when things like depression's kicked up in a meaningful way. And yeah, it's really a lovely thing.
Yeah, I think we've both allowed each other to grow.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit, girl! You like Miracle Girl? You made me. Yeah, look at myself and be like, "Bitch, you say you love people. Now you're gonna learn more."
Is that older than me? I don't know.
And if what's funny is like in dating MaSean and being with MaSean for so long, I felt like I had worked through all my shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we started like connecting more and more, we are much more similar than MaSean and I. And I would see, especially when, you were kind of developing a sense of self, I would see reflections of my own self in you. And I would sometimes be like, MaSean, I am so sorry. This is what it's like to be with someone who is X, Y, and Z. And my God, I'm those things.
Yeah, we have a lot of sides.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes us a while to figure them all out.
Yeah.
I have my good side right here on my left.
Oh my God, every side is your good side.
Well, thank you.
You're fucking 22.
True.
Yeah.
He's an old soul.
Yeah, because I fucking raised him.
Oh, okay.
He's my baby.
Oh my God. He's taking credit for your life.
Yeah.
Facts. Listen, I think we rescued each other in a lot of ways.
That might be true.
I can agree.
Love it. Travis, I'm sure some people did not understand what it's like to be in a relationship that's more than monogamous. What's that experience been like for you?
I've been finding that it hasn't been as challenging as I thought it would be. I have friends every now and then who question it for sure, because I think we're taught growing up that monogamy is truly the only way that you can go, and that's not always the case.
Yeah. I remember you were kind of figuring out yourself some. This was a while back, and you like picked a partner who really wanted to be monogamous with you and like begrudgingly allowed me and you to continue our relationship.
Yeah.
And then they really weren't more than monogamous.
Yeah, that was well, we're just gonna keep names out of it, but yeah I remember that time.
I was not pro that person. But then you like dated someone who you were like, hey, I actually want to be monogamous with this person. They're like a decent, loving human.
Yeah.
And I was like, please do. It's hard. It hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I learned to be chill, and in growing my own idea of what it is to love a person, you found your way back to me. I feel very fortunate.
I'm fortunate.
What? MaSean's the most fortunate
Yeah, that's probably true.
because you get both of us.
Yeah, what up? I guess.
MaSean, what's it like for you to have a more than monogamous relationship, to have me kick it with someone who's like cute? And I'm sure other people might have their own opinions or thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In the beginning, I wasn't sure if I'd be okay with it or not, but we took like small steps in checking it out, and I don't know. I found out that I'm pretty low key and relaxed, and I'm good with things, and I know what I have when it comes to you, and I'm perfectly okay with it.
Yeah, I think it also took the pressure off of you.
Yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
I'm a fucking lot.
Yeah, when it comes to monogamous relationships, people expect a lot. There's so many expectations, and I don't know that I'm a person who can deliver on all of those.
Yeah.
So I need like a little time to step back.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that all works out for me.
Literally time to yourself.
Yeah. I just need to breathe. I'm a person who needs to step away from the epicenter.
No matter how lovely and gorgeous
Yes.
the epicenter is. Thank you.
Even still. Yeah.
know.
No, so it all worked out fine, and I don't know. As long as, Travis is a perfectly wonderful person, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if he was a total shitbag, I would probably have a problem. So,
Yeah.
I mean, every now and then I can be, but
Yeah. I think what helped us, Travis, is that any harm I felt in our dynamic, I knew was like unintentional.
yeah, I think it's definitely a lot of coming of age for me.
Well, and then the other piece is people just aren't perfect. I'm not perfect, even at a young age of 38.
oh my God. Yeah, there will always be growing pangs.
Yeah.
Pains.
Even in our 50s, Michelle?
Yeah. I'm still experiencing them.
I know my parents are.
Oh my gosh. Well, y'all, I'm so grateful we got to have this time together.
Yes, it's been great. Thank you for featuring me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love both of you humans so much.
You should.
You're great.
You both allow me to express myself and be myself in ways that I wish people growing up knew how to do for me. And so it is always meaningful, and I'm forever thankful that I get to exist with such fantastic humans.
Moi aussi. I am very
I think that's French for I watched the OC.
me as well. I am not the norm, so I'm glad that you can understand who I am and give me space to
Yes.
breathe.
I appreciate you.
Oh, you should. Me and My Gorgeous Husband was brought to you by Mariah Gossett, MaSean Fontenot, and Adam Marr.
Done. Just kidding.
Hey, if you like our podcast, make sure you rate and review us on Apple Podcasts because, bitch, that's how we get found. That's how more people find the deliciousness that is moi.
Yeah, tune in and help us out. God damn it.
Yeah, lend a hand out, you piece of shit.
I've been telling everybody to rate us. I don't know if it's happening, but if it hasn't, I'm going to murder them all.